was nobody, no one that would run me. So give me a run for my money.
Alright.
Boy, if you don't get...
What's going on, guys? Today is Just a Tip Tuesday, and today we're going to talk about 5 things you need to get started as a filmmaker. Let's go.
I wanna be with you. I wanna be with. I wanna be with you. I wanna be with. I wanna be with you.
Alright, so let's get started with these 5 things I feel like you need to become a filmmaker. Of course, number 1 is going to be the camera. Now, with that being said, I personally like to shoot a lot of slow motions. I see that, there's a lot of slow motion going in all genres of film. I don't care if it's commercials, music videos, cinema, whatever the case may be. People love slow motion. So the best rule of thumb I say, of course you want something with a very high megapixel, but get what's according to your budget. But one of the key things you definitely want to need for filmmaking is something that shoots at least 60 frames per second. So that means that you have your 24 frames, 25, 30 frames, and then some have 50 and some have 60. Now, if you got a camera that goes more than that, great. The more frame rates you have, the smoother or buttery your slow motions will be. So keep that in mind when you shop for cameras. For your first camera, I wouldn't go like crazy high or like the 15, 2,000, 3,000, whatever budget cameras. But if that's what your budget allow, go for it. If not, if you're on a tight budget, get something like the D5200 or the Nikon D7200, maybe the Panasonic G7. I think the T6i from the Canon Rebel series, I believe that shoots 60 frames. So get something around that nature. Oh, another key tip within that tip is if you can get a camera with a kit lens, grab it. Good to have. Speaking of lenses, let's go on to number 2. Number 2, lenses. Of course, this lens is all blacked out. That's because I got an ND filter on there. But let's talk about lenses. The lens that I would suggest having, if you don't get a camera with the kit lens already, is to get a 50mm lens. I shoot Nikon, so this is the Nikon 50mm f1.2. I'm all about prime lenses. I'm all about vintage lenses. I feel like they have the sharpest glass. I feel like they're just the best bang for the buck. You can catch this on eBay all the time. If you're a Canon shooter, of course, like any of these lenses you catch on eBay for a great price. Like I say, I'd rather get a prime lens than a variable lens. So breaking that down, if you get the kit lens that comes on the camera, most of the time it's going to have somewhere from 18mm to 50mm, meaning that it varies from 18 and 50. This right here is just a 50mm lens. Like, I can't do anything but do a 50. The reason why I say get the 50 is because of you can use it as a close-up lens, you can use it as a wide-angle lens, medium, whatever the case may be. That iffy 50 will pretty much do just about whatever you want to do to get started. Then, of course, as you get gigs and get paid, you move on. But for number 2, I get the 50mm lens, whatever you have. Let's go for it. Number 3. Now, we're going to talk about lighting. Now, the reason why I have this light, or why I have this light, is because it's battery operated, it's small, and it has a great output. I don't have any batteries in it right now, so I'm not going to cut it on, but this is the newer CN160, meaning that it has 160 LEDs inside of it. The thing I just took off of it is called a diffuser, and over here that came with the light, it has other types of gels or diffusers that go on. So the orange side would be more of the warm look. This right here, purplish, pinkish look, is more of a cool tone. So it have like a bluish look or the orange look for the warm. And this is gonna put out just straight white. This is gonna this one right here just softens up the bright light that comes out of here. But the reason why I say battery operated lights, because you might get in places where you just can't plug up anything. And I've been in some situations like that. And this right here has a cold shoe mount, which means that it doesn't have any electricity that flows through this particular part. You just slide into the hot shoe part of your camera, which this is a cold shoe, and you just put it on top and you just go with it. You rock it just like that. Have that light shining right on top of your camera, illuminates what you need within a good 5 to 7 feet, and you go from there. Now, I'll give you another little side tip in there as well. So say if you can't afford that kind of light and you have access to power, you might laugh, but this little can light, what, $8 at Lowe's, get a box of these little curly lights. I think it was like 4 for maybe like $10, 100-watt lights. Get you some daylights and some bright lights. They do an amazing job. The lights themselves is what's illuminating me right now, so you get a good look at what it is. But these little can lights help me out so much. I mean, they got their own little clamp on there. You clamp them onto a pipe, a pole, whatever the case may be. Stick them in a corner and do what you got to do, knock it out. But this is if you have situations where you can plug up. But if you can't plug up, I advise the other light.
Okay.
So let's move into number 4. Number 4 is all about stabilization. I recommend getting a shoulder rig to get started off because you can catch them as low as like $50 to $60 and go up even higher. The one I have with me right now, this is called a Flycam H2000, 3000. This is the handheld gimbal I mentioned in another video. What you do is you just sit here, you put your camera on top, you balance it out, and what you want to do is when you balance it, it's supposed to sit in any position where you put it, and unless you know it's balanced. And as you walk, it is the smoothest thing ever, besides my Ronin, which I use faithfully all the time. But it's one of the smoothest things. But like I said, the shoulder rig, I'm quite sure you've seen it. It has like a little arm or a little cup that goes over your shoulder. Most of them have 2 handles, and your camera sits right here, and you just move with it. Now, as you walk, it does have a little shake as you walk, but it beats being handheld. Handheld is not the way to go unless you purposely need it. But like I said, that shoulder rig, inexpensive. I mean, if you break it down, it fits in your book bag, depending on how big your bag is. And it provides a good, strong 3-point connection, stabilization that you'll need for your camera. And let's go to the, I messed up.
That's all, folks.
Anyway, the 5th and final tip. Of course, how can you do any filmmaking without having a computer? I don't necessarily recommend getting a MacBook. I mean, I love my MacBook. Everybody says they don't get viruses. They get viruses, but not as much as a PC. I personally use Final Cut Pro, but what comes with a Mac is the iMovie, I believe. It's a free program. You can get started, learn how to edit and post-production. You have to have a camera. You have to have a computer. With that being said, get what you can afford. I'm not saying go break the bank, but depending on what your budget is, have fun. You got any questions, please comment below. I'll get to them as soon as I can. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. See you guys next Tuesday. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Love y'all. Peace.
If I didn't ride blade on curve, would you still? If I'm in my mind at work, would you still?